Hey, gym owners, if you're going to be hiring a general manager anytime soon, this video is a can't miss for you because I'm going to show you all the mistakes I made so that you don't got to repeat them and you find yourself a superstar GM.
Dustin Bogle.
If you don't know who I am, my name is Dustin Bogle. I'm the CEO and founder of Gym Reinforcements. We're a marketing agency for gym owners by a gym owner because I scaled to 6 locations over 6 years. And all the tools, tactics, and trainings I provide on my social media are everything that I did at my gyms to make that happen so that you can grow your fitness empire as well. All right, now let's get into the good stuff. I got 6 big mistakes I made, and I'm passing them over to you so you can hire GM now, you can hire GM in the future, or maybe you want to be a better general manager of your team, and that is what you're going to learn on this video. All right, so let's get into it. The first one is focus, okay? So in today's culture, there's so much pushing for getting people into other business opportunities on the side of their main W-2, all right? So it could be they go do Uber driving, or they try to be an online coach, or they just try to start some other business side hustle. And so what you're losing with someone who's doing that is you're losing their focus. If you want this person to be a great leader inside your organization and grow your business, they have to focus on it. And if their split focus is all over the place, that is going to be one of the biggest, costliest mistakes that you can make. All right. So when you're looking at candidates, maybe you're hiring from within or maybe you're hiring from outside, find out how much they got on their plate. Find out how much focus they can give it. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is the gyms that grew the fastest and to the biggest numbers for us, the GM was obsessed with that gym. They gave it their focus. That's all they slept and thought about and breathed was their gym. And so you got someone with split focus, I'm sorry, you're just not going to get the same return on that payroll. So that's the big one I'm starting off with. Make sure whoever you hire, this is their primary focus, okay? Now, number 2 is values. If you do not get core values, I can't stress enough why you need to get them. And the big thing is when people say like, what really are core values? Why do we have to have them? Why does everyone make such a big deal? What you're really saying to your team and to the world is, what do you love and what do you hate? Okay, so there's probably things that your team does or you've seen done in your gym, and it irks you, and it irks you so bad, it makes you step up into action. That's a sign of your values, meaning that's where you draw the line. Because if I go to 10 different gyms, I'm going to see 10 different sets of values. I'm going to see different behaviors that are allowed, and they all might be successful, right? There's many paths and ways to grow a gym, but what's your way is going to be tied to your values and the way you want things done and how you want people to behave. That's really what values are, right? So you want to praise people for living your values, and you want to reprimand people for breaking your values. And so I just found GMs that just like their background looked great, their experience looked great, they ran gyms, but those gyms didn't have the same values. And because they had experience or because they had that title, I immediately passed them forward in the process. But now I've learned I have to make sure that they also live the values. In fact, I even think who they are and their character traits is even more important than their skills, because I can train people the skills and the way we do things. I can't teach them to be honest or to have integrity or to be patient or to work hard or to go exceed expectations. Like, these are things that you have to kind of suss out through your recruiting process and make sure that their values are the right fit. So again, ask yourself what your values are, meaning what do you love? What do you hate? How do you want people to behave? Put those into words and then interview people around them and make sure that you have that, so that you don't make the mistake I did, which is just put people in because they had a background in management and they just didn't have the same values, okay? Example I'll give before I go to the next one is, maybe I go to a powerlifting gym and everybody is shirtless and they got loud rock music and they're cursing and these giant Viking men just yelling and lifting heavy things. Well, that's the way that owner wants that gym to be ran, right? Like, that's the values they want to project, and those are the type of people they want to bring in. Then I can go to a personal training studio where they're all about like science and certifications and professionalism. Now the coaches are all in polos and like, that's the values and that's the projection that the owner wants to put out, right? And then I can go to an open gym where maybe it's like we're the low cost leader here, and like the place is tore up and there's like holes in the upholstery and there's stains in the bathroom. And like, obviously I can show you that, we don't give a crap here. We don't have any attention to detail. Like, we just care about getting things to the consumer for the lowest price possible. So these are all different gyms with different vibes, and they all have different values. And that usually is coming down from the owner and management and leadership. So what values do you got, and hire people that align with those values? Moving on, number 3. Then we go to skills. Okay. So there's a lot of different skills a manager needs. It's up to you to identify what do you want a GM to look like, right? Because there's also different versions of a GM, and I'm gonna get to that on one of the future mistakes. But for now, what are their skills? And don't just take their word for it. Ask for numbers, okay? Real good GMs with experience, if you're hiring an experienced one, will know their numbers. Otherwise, they'll just say, "I've done it." And that's a huge red flag, right? I've done sales. Whoop-de-doo. Get like, what was your best month, right? Like, what was your KPIs you were held accountable to? You can't just say I've done sales, right? Because I've had so many team members said that. And again, when I was inexperienced in terms of hiring and management, I took their word for it. And I learned really quick, wow, their word doesn't mean nothing, right? So if someone says like, yeah, I've done sales, well, guess what? When you sold one thing, you've now done sales, and now everybody can claim that that's sold one thing. Yeah, I've done sales. So you got to get down to the details, right? The devil's in the details of those skills. So, essentially, it could be sales. It could be how many team members did you lead? What profit margins were you hitting? If you were to come in, how would you grow our business? So you're kind of starting to understand their skill set in a lot of different ways. So you got to write down, what are the skills the person will need to be an effective GM in my gym, because every gym needs a different type of a GM. And I'm going to get to that on number 5. All right. But we're going to continue on. Again, quantifiable, measurable skills. And you also want to ask about the activities related to that skill. So they say, yeah, I had my best month. It was X $1,000 per month. Cool. What activities did you do that got you to there? Why was that month a standout month? What did you do different? And you can start to understand how really skillful are they, right? So we're going to go to number 4, and that is business knowledge. So this definitely comes into a GM role, because they got to be a really good business operator. Well, you want to understand how strong is their business knowledge. How well do they know all the functions of the business? Do they know marketing? Do they know sales? Do they know recruiting? Do they know how to create a great culture? Like, because they got to have their hands in all these honeypots. Do they know how to, look at a P&L and understand things, right? Do they know when's the right time to hire? Do they know when they have to cut back, right? So like, you want to gauge and understand, how well do they know business? How in depth is it? Is it at least to the equivalent of you? But man, it'd be even better if they know even more, right? If they're more experienced and now they're leading you to the next level of growth. But not every gym has that budget capability, right? So sometimes you're hiring someone that's equivalent or even below you in business knowledge, but we need to know that they at least have the knowledge needed to run the business as it is today, right? And then that will take us to number 5. And so again, all of these were mistakes. I hired people with no focus. I hired people that didn't match with values. I hired people who said they had skills, but I didn't quality check that. I just took their word for it. And then I hired people that had very little business knowledge, somehow just lucked their way into a GM role. But that continued to allow them to believe they needed to stay in that GM role because they were a GM at another gym. So I brought them in and made them a GM at my gym, but they should have never been a GM because they had really low business knowledge, right? Like, so now their ego's been inflated. They don't want to go down the rung of ladders in terms of titles. And so like, you don't want to be the gym that just takes someone because they had that given to another gym. Okay. So now we're going to get into the good stuff in terms of like a little bit more of a meatier topic. And that is, what do you exactly need them to do? Do you need them to just manage the gym? Is it like in a good place? Does it have good word of mouth? And it's like, we got momentum. I just need you to keep this momentum going. Are you looking for just someone to really just come in and run the place and make sure ops continue as they are? Or do you need someone to grow it, right? And you need them to be able to grow and manage, because those are two different skill sets. This is more operational, like look at the numbers, make sure everything's running, as usual. Growth and manage, they got to have sales skills and they have to know the ops side of the house, right? So you got to understand, what are you looking for? There's some gyms that they just got excellent foot traffic. They got good word of mouth. Leads come easy to them because they build such a good reputation. Sales comes pretty easy. You just need someone to just manage this amazing momentum machine, right? But others, it's a little bit harder. You got to fight for every sale. You're in a harder to find part of town. Leads are expensive. Like there's a lot of competition. You're going to need someone that's very, very sales driven, right, to grow it. So that's something to look at because maybe they got a ton of experience, maybe the values match, but maybe they just really are a good manager and ops person. They're not really going to go out there and pound the pavement. And again, how can you know this? You can ask about what they did at past experience. The best peek into someone's future, is to look into their past. And so if they say in the past in my old GM role, I did this, 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 and it was all ops stuff, and you didn't hear anything sales related, they're going to come in and they're going to just do that ops stuff at your gym. They're not going to just suddenly step into new things. People tend to repeat their history, good or bad. And so, if it's the right history that matches where we want to go, perfect. But if it's not, I just saved you a big mess. All right. And then finally, number 6 is this a leader other people will follow? Because they have to follow you, which means you got to set yourself up to be a great leader, someone that people look up to and they respect and they want to work with you and they want to, see your mission, your vision come to life. But are they somebody that the team will follow, right? And so I saw someone kind of like put on their best version of themselves when they're talking to me. And then when they turn to the team, they'd be rude, they'd be a jerk, they'd be super blunt, and they would kind of just like, yell at everybody to do what they said and don't talk back. So I realized, oh man, I kind of got rope-a-dope. They kind of put on a different, you know, kind of like way of being around me, and then they changed when they were with the team. So make sure that they spend time with the team without you because they're always going to put on their best foot forward around you because they know you own the place. So they're trying to like impress you. You kind of want to hear from your team. What was your guys' opinion? I sent them to the gym. I wasn't there. I wanted them to spend time with you, take a session, walk the floor, talk to some clients. These are the types of things that are important because then your team also, they get a say and if they believe in this person. And that goes a long way because then they will feel like they were part of the whole process, right? And you should have a multi-layer process. I know even for me, there's things that I see and I'm super optimistic. I can see the good in everybody. I have to fight and try to be as pessimistic as possible and almost go into every interview saying, I'm trying to talk them out of taking this job. They're talking me into why they should get it because otherwise I'm the opposite. I'm trying to sell them the dream. This is the best place ever. The culture's amazing. You're going to love it here. And I've learned that that doesn't work, right? So I have to actually fight my natural proclivity. So essentially with your team, make sure they're part of the process because they all have different filters. They're going to look at this person in their role and see how they apply, right? Like, so if they're a trainer or their front desk or they're, a CPA, everybody is going to have a different view and that's good. So you get a holistic look into this person and see, can they lead all different types of personalities, all types of different roles? Or are they only getting respect from one role? That's a problem, right? If they're going to be a GM, they're going to need to lead everybody. Okay, so those are my GM hiring mistakes, guys. That's 6 of them there for you. If this topic was something that you want to, have me dive into more around, general managers, let me know in the comments. And if you like this episode, go ahead and subscribe. Would appreciate that so we get this information out to some other gym owners. Until then, see ya.